Hey, hey. So I just got back. So I just got finished watching the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I was watching it with my younger brother, who's the target demographic age, I like to think. So I thought I'd share some of my thoughts and some of what he had to say because, you know, I thought I'd talk on that, give my 2 cents. Definitely not because it's a trending topic and I'm trying to boost views or anything like that. Nope, no sorry, no sorry. But I just really love Mario. Mhm. Yeah. Um, I'll give a talk a bit on the first one. First one was pretty decent. It was just a very generic movie. I assume most of you guys have probably seen it, but this movie was pretty generic. A lot of tropes, a lot of references, but it was decent. It was a good, solid movie. Very Adam Sandler-ish. Like I'd give it like a 6 out of 10, 6.5, something like that. The second movie, however, takes all of this decent will. It takes the fact that we tolerated the first one and just throws it through a shredder. And I mean that literally. It's like if the first movie was done again, but worse, shorter. No, not shorter, but like worse, choppier, and just a pale imitation. So let's get into it. First thing to start with, there's way too many incredibly short scenes. Like, okay, I get that they're trying to fit a lot into it, and the movie's only this long. I think like 2.5 hours long. So there's not that much space to have tons and tons of stuff. But my solution to that is don't do tons of stuff. Like the amount of references in this movie, it's it's almost like hitting the heights of Endgame or something, like No Way Home, and it's just like you don't need to do all of that. I mean, firstly, it doesn't really work because most of the references are from like the more niche Mario references because they used all the really good and popular ones in the first movie. But also, like, there's so many of them, and they're so quick and fast. They're like not really much explanation for many of them either. So it's just so jumbled and like poor. The other thing is there's too many scenes. Like the scenes, same issue, but like the scenes are so short, so like incremental. But there's so many of them. Like the scene of the birthday scene in the Mushroom Kingdom with Peach. That's like that's the framing device for the movie, more or less from our hero's perspective. That's when we get to know that Peach is like thinking about how she has another family and and then the Star Child comes and says Rosalina's been captured. Now you see that what I just said there. You think that's a summary? That's basically a line read. That's basically a line read of what they say in the movie. It's so short. It's literally just like Mario, Yoshi, and Luigi walk through the Yoshi, and Luigi walk through the venue, see like one thing. Mario asks where Peach is. Mario goes straight to Peach. They start talking. The stars start falling. Star Child's there. Boom. The whole thing is like 3 minutes max. It just feels so cut and rushed. Another big example: the initial scene with Yoshi. Like that is really short. It's literally they go to the desert kingdom from Odyssey. I forget what it's called, and then they go inside the monument, and inside because the I say Mexican, the local townspeople have been say that there's been a ruckus. Basically, they go down, see what happened. They see Yoshi there, and then Yoshi's just part of the group. There's nothing more to it. They say, "What's your name?" He says Yoshi, and like it's Pikachu or something, favorite Pokemon. They say, "I choose you," and they're gone. It's so rushed and anticlimactic, and I was just supposed to care about Yoshi like he's one of the group when nothing's happened. If I didn't know who Yoshi was, I'd be thinking, "Oh, I see. This is some great setup for a future twist villain, or something interesting." But it's literally just they adopt a pet they meet in under a minute. And Toad even calls this out in the movie. He says, "Oh, okay, so random dinosaur just becomes part of the group. That's okay now." Like, and it's like, yeah, but they don't really do anything with it. And it's like I'd want them to do so much more with that. Even with that scene that Toad says, I'd wish there was more like an arc of Toad being jealous. I'll get into the character development later because that's a whole different thing. But I wish they'd done something like that in terms of developing the scenes, making them all feel real, like the characters, actual characters. But what can you do? The movie has like no real conflict at all. It's really shallow actually. Like to be fair, it feels like there's conflict. There actually isn't if you think about it. The initial conflict is Rosalina's been captured, and I guess that's the main conflict throughout the whole movie. But they don't know what's going to happen to Rosalina. They don't know who's captured Rosalina. Peach just goes looking, basically, and she gets told by the Star Child that a robot took her. And then we find out later that it's actually Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr.'s kidnapped Rosalina because kidnapped Rosalina and wants to find Bowser so that he can fulfill their childhood dream of owning a planet with a gun powered by princess energy. Kids movie. No, but it's like, it's just a bit weird, you know? Peach has no attachment to Rosalina, but it almost feels like from the inception of... Okay, we get told by the Star Child that they got told stories about Peach when they were young. But Peach almost extrapolates that and then just almost knows that Rosalina's her sister in some way, because she just becomes so desperate to save her. And it'd be one thing if it's like established in Peach's character, she just needs to save everybody. But that's not really how... That's not established, and that's not how the movie portrays it. And then, furthermore, it's like, I don't really get why Bowser Jr. wants to do that. Like, why he kidnapped Rosalina to... Like, okay, fine. I can understand that as a motivation for Bowser Jr. But then when Bowser and Bowser Jr. meet up, then later in the movie, Bowser and Bowser Jr. meet up, and they still try and go through with the plan. Why? Like, I actually don't get why. And you also have it as, like, Bowser Jr. like creates so much technology on his own. Like, genuinely stunning technology. Like, he has a massive gravity beam that completely displaces the Mushroom Kingdom castle. And it's like, if we have that, why do we need a princess? By the way, a princess that his robot defeated. He used the Star Children, but like his robot defeats Rosalina in combat. It's kind of confusing. Why they would need to do that to like kidnap Rosalina to make a planet destroying beam. And at the end of the movie, you can tell that it doesn't really mean anything to anybody because, like, firstly, Mario doesn't try and save Bowser, but like, Mario feels regret when he thinks he's killed Bowser. He hasn't, but he feels regret when he thinks he has. And then Bowser Jr. and Bowser kind of just walk off. They get captured again later, but there's no stakes. I don't feel like anybody here really cares about the story apart from Peach, who cares about saving the woman who she believes to be her sister based off nothing really until midway through the movie when she finds out that Rosalina is her sister. So it's just kind of weird. The other big thing is the clear message of this movie is like the importance of family ties. You got Mario and Luigi, you got Peach and Rosalina, you got Bowser and Bowser Jr. But that message is so muddled through the movie to the point where I think I might just be reading into it, and they didn't intend to do anything with that because Luigi might as well not be in the movie. I'm gonna keep it a buck. He does nothing of relevance or use at all. Mario almost as well. That like the movie isn't affected by Luigi and Mario being Luigi and Mario, if you know what I mean. Like, their characters have no impact on the story. They're almost just stand-ins to fill up time and to fill up character space. For example, you look at Peach. Peach's character drives the plot because she's actively searching for Rosalina because that's part of her character. Mario and Luigi's character doesn't really drive the plot. Like, if you had a random Toad from the kingdom just take charge of the kingdom when Peach leaves, then you'd kind of get the same effect. I don't really feel like... But right, That's again getting character development. I won't talk about that now. But yeah, so Mario, the theme's family, but Mario and Luigi's family dynamic isn't touched on at all, at all. I think they call each other brother once in like the opening scene. That's about it. Yeah, and then with Peach and Rosalina, it's actually done really well, but not that well. Like, okay, the idea is that it's family ties, and they end up freeing Rosalina by combining their power, and that's cool and all. But also, I'm not sure if it's a very strong family message when one of the family members didn't know the other one existed until seconds ago. Now you could say that like that's family is more powerful than blood. You don't have to know each other as family. It's okay. It's not the best, but it works. It works. The worst one is Bowser and Bowser Jr. because in a story about reconnecting with family, communicating with family, helping family, Bowser reconnects with his family and actively regresses. Bowser reconnects with Bowser Jr. and he's like on this path where he's like developing his end to control his anger or whatever. And you can say that was all an act, but like it's genuinely not. Bowser gets restored to his big size midway through the movie, and he doesn't betray them. And even after he reconnects Bowser Jr., he thinks he's not going to betray them. But then Bowser Jr. convinces him to go against them. And it works. And there's no... And Bowser's just evil now. So it's like, if Bowser hadn't reconnected with his family, he would have been better off. That's pretty poor messaging, no? That doesn't make much sense. Yeah. And then it's even more confused because Bowser's... The relationship between Bowser and Bowser Jr. is not conveyed well at all. Like, at all. Bowser has one line where he says, I was a bad father to Bowser Jr. But then the rest of the movie, all we get is flashbacks of Bowser being an incredible father to Bowser Jr., putting on like plays for him and doing all this stuff. And then all we get from Bowser Jr. is just pure admiration and adoration of his father. Just like he's just desperate to reconnect with him and talk with him and learn from him and all that. And it doesn't read like a poor relationship dynamic. Yeah, if you wanted to do the whole the family ties made Bowser worse off thing, you could make it out because they had a very toxic family dynamic. They have a pretty great father-son relationship, just as a relationship in its own. So it's kind of weird that would cause Bowser's character to regress. And if we were going with the themes of family, I'd expect Bowser to be like eventually convincing Bowser Jr. to grow, not the other way around. So that's weird. I already talked on how Yoshi's introduction had no source, so I'm just reading off my notes here if you can't tell. Yeah, Yoshi's introduction was just... I'm not endeared to the character at all. Not even really a character. You know, he's played by Donald Glover. Like, how... Why? I don't get why you would sign Donald Glover to say Yoshi 27 times. I counted. How do I get why you hired Donald Glover to say Yoshi 27 times for the Mario movie? Is it just because he's a big name and you want to have him in the interviews? That was weird to me. But yeah, like, and similar to that, I'll talk about this more later, but just there was very little characterization in the whole movie. Mario and Peach's relationship was really weird. In that same bit, before the wedding scene, when they're preparing to go to the wedding, Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi are all in Mario's room. And Mario says, he picks up a thing, and he's like, oh, Luigi, do you think these I can't do the accent. He says, Luigi, do you think this... Wait, he doesn't even do an accent. What? I forget, it's Chris Pratt doing Mario. He goes, Luigi, do you think this gift is good for... Do you think this will be a good gift for... He says, Luigi, do you think this would be a good gift for Peach? And then Luigi goes, ooh, you want to give a gift to your friend on her birthday? Oh, Mario, do you have a thing going on? Do you have a thing for Peach? And it's just a bit like really ham-fisted. And then there's like one extra scene of development between their relationship because they are split for half the movie. And that's about it. Then Peach kisses him in like the final moments of the movie, and it just feels really unearned because they haven't really talked much or been together. You just, but then they have a thing, but they don't have a thing, and it's weird. Um, I like the Space Fox cameo, but it was pointless, like really pointless. Like pointless to the point that it confused the film. I don't know why they added like a multiversal traveling character into the movie just for the sake of it, just for to be like the pilot in the trope. No, yeah, I mean, like, it just they introduced this whole space. What's his name? Star Fox. Star Fox. Yeah, they introduced Star Fox just for the sake of having a pilot, but then he takes them to one place that they could have got to by like any other means, and then his thing crashes. So it's kind of just like, what was the point? Was there a point? You know, and it's just, and they had to give him the backstory, be like a multiversal traveler who lost his crew because otherwise it doesn't make sense why he's here. It's just, yeah, it's odd. It's fine. Yeah, so like, I've kind of given snippets, but I'll talk through like the movie in chronological order now. So it starts with Bowser Jr. capturing Rosalina, and then we cut to the Mushroom Kingdom, where we have the scene where then we cut to Mario and Luigi where they meet Yoshi. Then we cut to the Mushroom Kingdom where it's Peach's birthday party. And then they go to and then Mario and Peach have talkie about birthdays and how she hates birthdays. And then there's like a star, I don't even know what to call it, a star shower. The star shower, and then one of the star children comes up to Peach and says, Princess Peach, we need you. And then says that Rosalina got captured and that they'd heard story because Rosalina told the Star Children stories about Mario and Luigi. And then the Star Child says, yeah, Rosalina got captured by a robot, yada 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 yada. And then sends Peach off to save him. Peach leaves Mario and Luigi in charge of the Mushroom Kingdom, during which Bowser Jr. comes over to try and capture Big Bowser. It doesn't work, but Mario, Luigi, and Bowser and Yoshi get stranded during the confrontation. He strands Mario, Luigi, and Bowser on a different planet, and then they have to find their way back. Yada yada yada. They make Bowser big again. Yada yada yada. Bowser gets. At a certain point, they leave to go. They get to the. That's just use the scene. I'm not going to mention it. So they leave Bowser behind with the queen of the local planet, and they go to like basically the intergalactic space station or whatever, just an intergalactic transportation hub. Bowser Jr. finds Bowser and takes him. And finds Bowser on the old planet and takes him. And then at the intergalactic station, Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi meet up with Peach and Toad. And yeah, and then as they're flying to go find Rosalina, Bowser Jr. attacks them. Bowser Jr. with Bowser attacks them from the ship. We get lore about how Bowser Jr. and Bowser how Bowser Jr. created a whole planet for them with a death beam that's powered by the strongest princess in the galaxy. Yeah, that they wrote before Bowser Jr. went off to boarding school. So then they all go to that planet basically. Fight, free Rosalina, save the day, yippee. To go back to that split up bit, it doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense that Peach would just go on her own and leave Mario and Luigi in charge of the kingdom. Surely you'd stay in charge of the kingdom as its monarch, and the two plumbers who you have already dealt with threats like this, you'd send out to, do it. But that's just narratively. Like logically, it also doesn't make any sense because, as you just saw in that quick summary I told you, they're apart for about 2 scenes each. I forgot to mention there's like a casino scene that Peach and Toad do, but that doesn't really have any relevance. But like, they're apart for like 2 scenes. So and nothing happens. Like neither of them gain information that the other doesn't also gain. So it would have made a lot more sense if they just corroborated it all into one, had them all leave together. I don't know, left like Toad or somebody else in charge of the kingdom, just to condense it all down. I know you're thinking like, why would you condense it all down though? Surely it just gives you more time. Because my issue with the movie is that it's really cut and really like condensed already. So I'd say, if you have so many extra scenes, cut those down so you can give more length to your scenes and actually make them good and write them well. Yeah, like I said, the casino bit had no relevance. Let me go back to the split thing, bro. I don't get it. It just doubles the amount of scenes in an already congested movie, and it ruins the flow of it all. Okay, rant over. Jokes are mostly okay, but some kind of fell flat. But it was fine. It's a kids' movie. Like, it was really generic jokes. Like, there was like a direct rip off of that one sloth joke from Zootopia, where it's like a robot and it goes, "Oh yes, the thing is over here," and I'm just like, kill me. But the rest of it was okay. The rest of the jokes were fine. The art's obviously beautiful. Like, this thing has an incredible budget, and I'm hoping at least they pay the animators well, because they deserve it. They deserve good pay. Invincible, take notes. This is what good art looks like. Yeah. References were good, but a lot of them were really niche. Some of them even went over my head. Like at the end, they have the ink guy. I forget his name. Yeah, and they just have Luigi draw him with Bowser Jr.'s paintbrush, and it's like, so they don't establish Bowser Jr.'s paintbrush either. I don't think how it works. But it's just like, that's a cool reference for those who know, but considering it's the way they defeat the final bosses, it's kind of too niche to be using. Especially considering, like, is it rhyming? I might be wrong. Especially considering it's like, a lot of the references are really old Mario content. The people who were kids for that and never playing at that time are like 40 now at best. No, not at best, like 40s, 30s, 20s, that kind of thing. So they're not really the target demo for the movie. I don't get why they go there. That's fine. The overall story, it was okay. I mean, it's a generic story. It's always going to be. It's a Mario movie. But it was fine. It was really generic, like very derivative. With a lot of Disney movies, for example, they will try and shake it up, even if it's a basic like premise. Here, the premise and the execution, it was all really derivative. I didn't like that. But again, it's a kids movie. How much do they have to do? There's a lot of character work that doesn't make sense. Like Peach going on her own with Toad in the middle of the night to save Rosalina and leaving Mario in charge, who has no experience doing any of that. Like Bowser just not talking to Bowser Jr. and saying, "Hey, I don't want to kill these guys." Like Bowser Jr. just kidnapping Rosalina before he saves Bowser so they could like talk about it or whatever. It's all kind of, I don't like it. But it is what it is. Yeah, there's no character development in that entire movie. Like, there's some. I was being a bit reductive when I said there's no characterization. There's characterization. Peach has a character. Bowser Jr. has a character. Bowser has a character. That's about it. But there is no real development. Like, Peach, beginning of the movie and end of the movie is, oh gosh, I really wish I knew my family. I would take so good care of them. I'd love to be with family too. I have family now. That's not character development. She doesn't change as a person. She just gains a family. Bowser, guess what? He regresses. So I guess that's character development. Bowser Jr. stays the exact same. Goes from wanting his dad to having his dad. That's not development. He's still the same dude, and then everybody else, like I said, has no character to begin with. So yeah, it really fails on a lot of those points. The music, oh my gosh, the music is so amazing. I I know a lot of it is just remixes of game music, but it's just so, the composition is just, it's amazing. I really like it. All the stuff to do with like the filmmaking of the Mario movie, like, the voice acting as well is pretty decent. I really like. It's just the writing. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is the big one. The ending doesn't make any sense. Basically, in the establishment of Peach being related to Rosalina, we see the book that Rosalina reads to the Star Children, and it says like, these two were the children of Stardust. They were sisters. Together with their power, they could harness the power of the cosmos. Yada yada yada. And Peach, and we see a cutscene of like them putting their hands together. It's like, oh, Rosalie, Peach, and they're like, and there's like mystical energy. But we see that that's not in the book. The book just says they could harness the power of the cosmos. So when Peach meets Rosalina and then puts her hand towards the glass frame and says, Rosalina, give me your hand, and they use the power of the cosmos to break the cage that Rosalina's in, Peach shouldn't know that that's how it works or how to do that. So that's kind of ridiculous, and it is the only way that they could have saved Rosalina in that moment. So it's pretty, yeah, it's pretty grim. Yeah, that whole magic system with like the cosmic magic is weird, and the stuff with Rosalina's magic, like Rosalina and Peach are both children of Stardust, but Rosalina has a wand and can do magic at will, and Peach just uses fisticuffs. That doesn't really make any sense. Peach, though, in the casino scene, amazing fight choreography, by the way. It's a really good fight. I like it. It's a bit quick, but it's very good. It's very good. It's very well paced. It's very aesthetic. It's a good fight. But yeah, she has no powers, and that's kind of a weird thing as well. It's like she's really good. I don't think she even uses a power up once, whereas Mario, Luigi, and like Toad all have to use power ups to even compete with her, and even then they're implied to be worse fighters. Which in a way is like, it's better because she's obviously trained her fighting, but in a way it's also worse because it's like, why is she a better fighter than Toad when they grew up in the same kingdom? Why is she this good of a fighter? It's weird. Again, it's nothing like major. Yeah, not a lot of the stuff in the movie isn't explained, but that's just part of the course. I think they presume too much knowledge about the Mario franchise to the point where it's like, if you're a kid and you haven't watched Mario, you haven't played the Mario games, some of it is pretty basic, but then a lot of it is a lot more niche, and there's still no explanation. I think that's poor. Like, no, Yoshi's pretty common, but like the stuff with Bowser Jr.'s paintbrush, that needs to be explained a bit better. Or the power-ups. A lot of the, like, they start using some of the nichest power-ups I've never seen before. You gotta tell me what that does. That's fine. Yeah, some of the jokes were repetitive and flat, but it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I think it was mostly good. The movie, mostly good. Am I saying that retrospectively now, 5 days after? Yes. I think it was buns, to be honest. I think it was a solid 4.5 out of 10. It's like, it's a movie constructed to be a 6 out of 10. It's constructed to be really uninnovative, unimaginative. It's just leaning on tropes, references, and like love for the franchise. That's what it's gearing to be. And that's why I gave the original one a 6 or a 6.5, because it's really well made. It's a really well made version of that. This one, it's equally well made in terms of like production, but it fails because it's too generic. Like, I don't get how you can be too generic in a kids movie, but it's too generic. It's too derivative. It simplifies stuff that's already like as simple as it can get and be effective. A lot of the jokes, a lot of the line reads, it simplifies and condenses them to the point where it's not even really coherent. remember somebody next to me, like just talking to their son, like I had no idea what's going on, and I was like, yeah, that's fair enough. You have to do a lot of like filling in the gaps of the movie, and like there's never any time to breathe or any stillness. So it's quite, yeah, it's quite jumpy, and it doesn't, it's not coherent at all. It's a very rushed movie. It rushes from bit to bit, and like a lot of the rushing doesn't even really amount to anything. Like the movies are full 2 or so hours, 2.5 hours, and it doesn't need to be that long. But also with all they did, it needs to be longer. You know, like in truth, all they need to do is have Bowser Jr. come in the first scene, kidnap, kidnap Bowser, show, have one of the Star Children fall out from the robot saying Rosalina's been captured, and then they go and try and find Rosalina, during which they fight Bowser in the final scene. You can make that an hour-long movie, but instead they have all these objectively useless scenes that I don't. There's no characterization, no character development. A bit of characterization for Bowser, that's about it. Very little character development, and a whole lot of references, and it does nothing to the story, and it just makes it feel really congested, really bloated, even though it's really not. It's a really simple storyline. So yeah, it fails to it fails to do the job of a movie. Really, it fails to convey anything. It fails to stick to its messaging. It fails to convey an interesting story. It's really, really poor, honestly. Like, in my opinion. I mean, I haven't watched any reviews on it, so maybe I'll watch Shay Phyllis's video, Cartoonchi, and then I'll just be like, oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. I'm clearly so media illiterate. How can I not see the great writing on the walls? But I can't see many redeeming qualities of this. I was really, like, in the movie theater, I was just really like, what is going on? What is this? What am I watching? I don't think it's just not quality at all. It's frankly not good enough. It's really poor. Um, yeah, I think it's like the inversion of that whole thing. Reach for the stars, just end up you'll land on the moon. Reach for the top of the door frame, you land on your face. That's what happened here. They reached for something attainable and they still missed, and it's just like it's almost embarrassing. But no discredit to production team. Production's amazing, but this story is just that's really bad. It's really bad. It's really poor written. The screenplay. It almost feels like it's just all the ideas on the cutting room floor just shoved into a movie and like animated as quickly as possible. It's poor. It's really poor. And I don't know where you go from here. I mean, the post-credit scene hinted to a third movie focusing on Daisy. I do actually like that. I like the focus on the princesses. I think there's not as much to do with Mario and Luigi as there is with the princesses and the lore. But it also creates a great redundancy around Mario and Luigi. Like, why are they still here in the Mushroom Kingdom? What are they even doing? But I like the focus on the princesses. It's good. It's decently written, and I think they can build a lot more around this. So we'll see how the third movie goes. But until then, ciao. I just poked my eye. Ciao.